What should I do if my computer freezes completely? Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. Here's the question. My computer froze. Nothing. The mouse pointer won't even move. What do I do? Here's the full disclosure. This was me. And in fact, even though this happened first time a few days ago, it happened to me again just a couple of hours before recording this video. My computer froze. The interesting thing is that the mouse didn't move. The mouse pointer would not move. In fact, there was almost nothing I could do. In my case, actually, it turns out if I'd tried enough different things, one of them worked. What I want to do with this video is walk you through the different things to try before you give up. The first thing, honestly, wait. I know it's frustrating and I can't tell you how long, but the issue is that there are sometimes legitimate but poorly written pieces of software, typically device drivers, that will lock up your machine for a while they're doing something, while they're waiting for something. It's not as common as it once was, but it is still possible. And like I said, it's typically poorly written device drivers. But the bottom line here is if you just wait for a little while, sometimes things will completely unfreeze and you can carry on. Number two, Alt+TAB. Hold down the Alt key and press Tab. This is normally the keystroke sequence that will let you cycle through the different applications that are currently running on your machine. Now, I was completely surprised because this worked for me. Even though the mouse pointer was frozen, the window that I was playing with was frozen, Alt+TAB actually worked. So what I was able to do was to bring up a different program, at which point everything started working again. The original program was still hung, and I'll get to that in a minute, but I was able to regain control of my system without needing to do anything drastic. In that same vein, CTRL+ESC. CTRL+ESC is the keystroke sequence for the Start button. So if you want to click on the Start button, great, but we don't have a mouse that's working. CTRL+ESC brings up the Start button. When you bring up the Start button, what's happening in Windows is you're bringing Explorer.exe to be the active program. It's the program that displays the Start button, the taskbar, and so on. It's this bringing a different program to be active that, in my case, caused me or allowed me to regain access to my system. Interestingly enough, when I did that, CTRL+ESC or Alt+TAB, the original application appeared hung. In fact, if I moved the mouse over the application, the icon, the mouse pointer, turned into the spinning circle. And eventually it would then say that the application wasn't responding. But I had to first switch to some other application to regain control of my system for that to be able to happen. Once the application wasn't responding, of course, then I had the option to kill the application and get on, restart the application, or do whatever it was that I would then want to do to recover from the hang. Number four, CTRL+ALT+Delete. It's the key sequence of history, right? It's the old way to reboot very old PCs. These days, CTRL+ALT+Delete will bring up a menu that includes options like signing out, switching users, locking your machine, or bringing up Task Manager. This is a very interesting way of doing or regaining access to your machine, because if you can bring up Task Manager, you then may have the option of actually killing the application that might be causing your hang. So if this menu comes up and you now have access to start something, you can run the Task Manager and examine exactly what's going on in your system. Now, so far, everything we've talked about has been basically, just do something to regain control without being too bad about it, without being too rough about it. Generally, it's about switching to a different application that, for one reason or another, gives you back control of your mouse and your keyboard. If those techniques fail to work, then yes, the next step is a reboot. Now, if any of the preceding options, be it Control Escape or the Task Manager or others, give you the option to simply select a reboot, to reboot your machine, do that. That's what I call a graceful reboot, because it is Windows itself telling all of the applications, hey, it's time to shut down. We're going to reboot the machine. Indeed, the application that's causing you a problem may not behave, but that's okay, because Windows is prepared for that. In a reboot situation, it will actively kill the application, whatever it might be, in order to allow the reboot to continue. Might take a few seconds, but it will actually allow you to reboot the machine, and then you can restart. The neat thing is, all of the other applications will have closed gracefully, and you're much less likely to lose data. And of course, the final step, which unfortunately is too many people's first step, is to force shut down the machine, a forced reboot. Typically, that means holding the power button down for 10, 20, 30 seconds. It varies based on your machine. But the bottom line here is that that just forces the machine to immediately turn off. In the case of a laptop, you may be able to do that. In some cases, the laptop, you may, if you can, need to remove the battery. In the case of a desktop or connected PC, you might want to pull the plug or turn off the power supply. But the bottom line here is that this is the last resort, a forced restart of your machine, and hopefully you'll be able to understand what is the problem, what's been going on, why this happened in the first place. Now, I'll be clear, none of these steps will help you actually diagnose the problem. These are all about simply regaining access to your machine so that you can then do whatever is appropriate to either fix or avoid the problem that got you here. For updates, for comments, for links related to this topic and more, visit askleo.com/163595. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.